Hey, what's up, people? Pitt is out here and continuing my back to school / rally, a month-long celebration and exploration of my favorite campus slasher movies. Today I want to talk to you guys about 1989's Cutting Class. And now I hardly know where to begin with Cutting Class because the movie is a doozy. So I'll start with the most notable thing about Cutting Class, and that's that the film features the big screen debut of Brad Pitt. And now if you've seen Cutting Class, you know Brad Pitt has come a long way since 1989. And kudos to him. Brad Pitt is a bona fide movie star. He is Hollywood royalty. But I doubt anyone watching Cutting Class back in the day would have pointed him out and said, I think that kid's going to be a star. The movie is pretty much your basic slasher movie. There's a killer at this high school picking people off one by one. Is it Martin, the kid who just got out of the mental hospital? Is it his former best friend, the dim-witted jock Dwight? Is it Dwight's goody-goody girlfriend? Is it the pervy high school principal? Is it the PTSD vet janitor? You've got this just murderer's row of oddball red herrings in this movie. And the movie, it's almost as if Cutting Class takes place in its own warped reality that has absolutely no bearing on the reality that we occupy. Example, there's an entire subplot in this movie involving Martin Mull. Martin Mull's character has gone hunting. While away hunting, the killer shoots him with an arrow. He then spends the entirety of the rest of the movie drudging through this swamp, evading help, trying to get back home. Characters in horror movies do dumb things all the time. Characters in Cutting Class, they can teleport around great distances like that. They can hide in broad daylight. They can hide behind water coolers. And you can clearly see them through the water cooler. When I say you, I mean the audience. The characters who are in this small room with the character hiding behind the water cooler, characters who are getting water out of the water cooler, can't see him. It's like he's completely camouflaged behind the water cooler, even though you can see directly through the water cooler. Cutting Class is a complete trip. They were on some serious drugs making this movie because the movie is completely whacked. Now, we don't have really a lot of kills in the movie, but we have some pretty interesting kills. We have death by pottery kiln, death by photocopier, death by American flag while trampolining. I don't think that's a word, but we'll just go with it in the case of Cutting Class. You've actually got a pretty good cast in the movie. I mean, Brad Pitt, and I'm sure Brad Pitt expunged Cutting Class from his resume long ago. But you have Jill Schoelen as his girlfriend in the film, and I love Jill Schoelen. I've talked about Jill Schoelen on this channel in the past. She's such an unsung scream queen. She was in The Stepfather. She was in Popcorn. She was in Phantom of the Opera. Bunch of good movies. Totally. Just doesn't get the recognition that she deserves, I think. Roddy McDowall plays the pervy high school principal who's after Jill Schoelen's character. You've got the crazy janitor who's like, I'm the only teacher you'll ever remember. And the whodunit aspect of the movie, the killer is obvious literally from the word go, to the point where you're expecting a twist. You're like, this, it's too obvious who the killer is. There has to be a twist. But there is no twist. It's almost as if the filmmakers were like, that is the twist. The twist is there is no twist. The movie goes on way too long. The ending of the movie features a power tool duel that is incredibly dangerous looking and poorly choreographed, and the characters are using real power tools that are really working power tools. You can see the blades moving in them in this shop class, and machinery is on all around them. Sparks are shooting everywhere. It looked incredibly dangerous. It's a really bad movie. As a matter of fact, Cutting Class was on my list to do a File 13 review of it for my series of cult sleaze exploitation movies, so bad they're good. But in Cutting Class's case, it is so bad, it is awesome. Cutting Class is awesome. Its cheesiness, its silliness, the fact that it takes place in this warped reality, it's almost like a dream. As a matter of fact, the movie, there's some sequences in the movie that are very foggy or very hazy, very glowy, just like a dream sequence. Like the entire movie is an extended dream sequence that follows the logic of a dream, in that there is no logic. It's a hoot. It's an absolute hoot of a movie, and I get the biggest kick out of it because, like I said, they were on some serious drugs making this movie. Serious drugs. I've seen Cutting Class numerous times. It's a movie that I reach for every now and again. It's got a really bad DVD release. It deserves a good quality Blu-ray release because it is... You gotta see it to believe it. You just gotta see it to believe it. And I've seen it a lot, and I love seeing it. Also, if you've seen Cutting Class, let me know in the comment section below. But is that a young Ryan Reynolds at the beginning of the movie as the paperboy? It looks a lot like him. I forgot to mention Donovan Leach in the film. Donovan Leach, his acting is all like a series of stares, as if he's channeling this guy. And I could almost imagine him preparing for Cutting Class, like staring into a mirror and working on his different stares, you know, like Blue Steel, you know. Like, you know, this is my longing stare. This is my loving stare. This is my I'm ominous brooding stare. He's channeling this guy. He had to be channeling the man for this performance, because it's all staring. It's all staring. If you've seen Cutting Class, by all means, let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Some lessons I learned from watching Cutting Class. Here we go. Lesson number 1. Any teenage boy who rides a bike with tassels, avoid. Number 2, no matter how many people are murdered in your high school, classes must go on. I'm serious. In this school, 2-3 murders have taken place. Clean up the blood, back to class. Yep, that's the gym teacher. He's been murdered by the photocopier. Break it up, back to algebra. Classes must go on at this high school. And number 3, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. If you've seen Cutting Class, you know what I'm talking about. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Cutting Class as part of my back to school / rally, a month-long celebration and exploration of my favorite campus slasher movies. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a thumbs up. And until I see you guys again with lesson number 5, take care and peace.